Uh, Hello friends, I welcome you to this video lecture series for Unit 1 Introduction to Risk Management. Dear friends, in our previous class we have already seen the exact meaning of risk and what is risk management and what are the uncertainties and all that. Now in this lecture series number 4, we'll discuss important issues relating to types of risks and sources of risk. We have already seen the meaning of a risk. Risk is an uncertain phenomena which is probed in advance and can be controlled if at all proper strategies are put into force in any business. And risk can be managed, but uncertainties cannot be managed. In this regard, we have already seen all risks are uncertainties, but all uncertainties are not risks. Risks are those uncertainties which are probed in advance, and we have a knowledge that such uncertainty may happen. And if it happens, how to control them? We have a plan of action, and it can be controlled. Suppose if the risk happens also. So now let us understand what are the types of the risk now. After that, we will also study the various sources how risk arises in a business. Connected to the types of risks, there are five basic risks that we come across in any business. One is the financial risk, and another one is non-financial risk classification, financial and non-financial risk. Second one is individual and group risk, and third one is pure and speculative risk, and fourth one is static and dynamic risk. Fifth one is quantifiable and non-quantifiable risks. So here in this case, it is very easy to understand by meaning itself, the financial and non-financial risk, individual and group risk. Only we need to understand pure and speculative risk in detail. Rest of the things are easily understood, but anyhow, we will have little glimpse on these terminologies. What is financial and non-financial risk? As you know, financial risk is a risk which can be the risk which can be measured in terms of money, in terms of finance, is called as financial risk. When the loss happened due to risk is measured in terms of financial units, if the loss which is happened due to risk is measured in terms of financial unit, it is called as financial risk. The risk has three important elements to consider it as a financial risk. What are those? The first one is that someone is adversely affected by the happening of an event. Second one is the asset or the income is likely to be exposed to financial loss, and the peril can be cause of the loss, and the loss is always measured in terms of money. For example, loss occurred in case of a damage of the property or theft property or loss of the business. This is a financial risk since the risk resultant can be measured in financial terms. Any loss which has happened due to a peril and the loss is adversely affecting the business, and the loss which is occurred can be measured in terms of money, that is called financial risk. Then what is a non-financial risk? When the possibility of a finance loss does not exist, the situation can be referred to as a non-financial in nature. The loss has happened, but it has not resulted into financial loss, but other than financial loss, that is inconvenience or emotional disturbances or a kind of stress to the person because of the loss. That is what we call as financial loss, non-financial loss. Any loss which cannot be measured in terms of finance but can be felt by the person who suffers from that particular risk is called as non-financial risk. For example, death of a beloved person in the family is maybe financial risk is his income that he's earning has stopped because of the death. The non-financial would be the sorrow, a grief, a kind of sad or a kind of departed soul which is creating a misery in the society, in the family, is called as a non-financial losses. These non-financial risk cannot be measured in terms of money. How much, how can you measure a stress in the person who has lost his husband or wife? That stress cannot be measured in terms of money, but there is a suffering or because of the risk. For example, risk in the selection of a career, risk in the choice of the course of study. An example is a career choosing is always a risk, but it cannot be measured in terms of what you call as financial loss, in terms of financial risk. It is non-financial. Suppose you take up a management course instead of a medical course, what the problem you encounter in the employment or in the jobs in the management education is something like a non-financial risk. They may or may not have, these risks may or may not have any financial implications. There is no financial loss, but there is an inconvenience, stress, or a kind of uneasy feeling because of happening of these risks. These types of risks are difficult to measure. As far as insurance is concerned, risk is involved with an element of a financial loss. In case of insurance contract and all that, we always undertake a contract for financial loss, not for non-financial loss. Individual and group risk. As the terminology itself indicates, individual risk is the risk happening to an individual. Group risk is the risk or the loss happening to the group. Risk associated with an individual person, such as theft, fire, or individual property, create a loss to individual person. Only one single person is getting affected, is called as individual loss. Uh, and a group risk is the risk associated with a group of the individual affected by macro environment changes in creating a loss to the mass. Example, flood, earthquake. Now this corona pandemic in the country is a kind of group risk. It is not an individual risk. Person who suffers from a corona is an individual, but the corona has not only created the individual loss, but also a group loss in general because of lockdown, because of pandemic in the whole society. Lot of people are getting admitted to the hospital. Most of the people lost their jobs. Most of the people lost their income. So this risk is a group risk. It is not affecting a one single individual, but affecting the people in large. Third one is we have pure risk and speculative risk. What is pure risk? Pure risk is a situations are those where there is a possibility of loss or no loss. Point is, uh, this pure risk is one. If the risk happens, either there will be no loss, or if it does not happen, there is no loss. Simple terms, if the risk happens, there is a loss. If the risk does not happen, there is no loss. There is no loss. It is called as pure risk. There is no gain. There is no gain. If the risk does not happen, it does not mean that the person who has not suffered from the risk is or loss is not gained something. There is, if there is no risk or no loss, person will not gain anything. It is a normal life. If the risk happens, he will undergo a loss. He will suffer a loss. For example, a car can be met with an accident, or if the accident does not meet with an accident, if the person does not meet with the accident, there is no gain. He will need a normal life. If the accident happens, then the loss happens. If the accident does not happen, there is no loss. An insurance policy is brought for the purpose, then the accident does not occur. There is no gain to the insured. In most of the this kind of pure risk, if the risk does not happen, the person who is holding the insurance contract will not again benefit anything. Whatever the premium he has paid is an expenditure. But in case of the the loss happened, the loss whatever is happened is compensated by the insurance company. So it is called a pure risk contract. Speculative risks are those where there is no possibility of gain. There is a possibility of gain as well as loss. Either there will be a gain or there will be a loss. The element of gain is inherent or structured in such a situation. For example, if you invest in stock market, you may either gain or lose on the stocks. There are two chances if you invest money in the stock market. If the scrip price goes in the market, if the share prices increase in the market, you will benefit. If there is a reduction in the price, if the price falls down in the market, you will be losing it. So there is a chance of gain and loss in a speculative market, speculative risks. But in case of pure risk, either there is a loss or there is no loss. So insurance contracts are normally taken care for the pure risks, not for speculative risk. Any insurance contract that you are supposed to undergo, there is a kind of pure risk. What is the pure risk? Either if the risk happens, the person will lose the property and he suffers a loss. If the risk does not happen, then he will not gain anything. He will not gain anything. This is what we call as pure risk. Difference between pure and speculative risk, if you compare and find out, pure risks are generally insurable while the speculatives are not. Speculative risks are not insured, whereas only pure risks are generally insured. In the examination, most of the time question has been asked, the previous question papers, what is pure risk? What is speculative risk? Differentiate between the pure risk and speculative risk. Please understand the concepts and write it properly. Pure risks are generally insurable while the speculative ones are not. Second point is the conceptual framework of the risk pooling can be applied to the pure risk. In case of pure risk, the pooling of risk is possible. What is a pooling of risk? Pooling of risk means the same type of risk, if it is suffered by many people, all the people who are coming across the same risk will contribute a common fund and utilize that fund if the risk happens to the people who are suffering from the loss. Suffering from the loss. An example is in case of uh, uh, in case of voyage, while the people are moving from one place to another place through sea route in a ship, there is a loss that a ship may sink in the water and all the people staying in the ship may lose their property. In such cases, the people who are all sailing can pool the risk. What is that pooling? They may commonly contribute a money and corpus is created that if at all any kind of loss happens, the persons who suffer a severe loss will get the compensation out of the pooled money. This is called pooling of risk. Whereas in case of speculative kind of a risks, there is no possibility of pooling because speculative risks are suffered individually, not by the group. Pure risks are suffered by the group also. The third point is speculative risk carries some inherent advantage to the economy or the society at large, while pure risks like uninsured catastrophes may be highly damaging. Speculative risk carries some inherent advantage to the economy or the society in large. In case of speculative risk, if at all a risk does not happen, it is good from the point of view of society. If the risk happens, the society will have a little disturbances in the society economy. Whereas in case of the pure risks, like uninsured catastrophes may highly damaging. In case of pure risk, there is no gain to the society, there is always a loss. If a catastrophe means durantagalu anta karitare. Catastrophe means duranta, means a kind of a damage which is going to cause loss to the whole mass, whole universe, whole people, whole population, or to certain part of the country. That is called catastrophes. Earthquake is a catastrophe, then a flood is a catastrophe. Now this coronavirus pandemic is a catastrophe because it is not affecting a one single person, it is affecting a many lives in general. So these catastrophes are going to damage the society totally. There is only a loss happening around it. Whereas in case of speculative loss, there is a chance that if the loss does not happen, the economy will have a gain also. In case of pure risk, the economy will always have a negative impact, that is a loss only. Whereas in case of a speculative risk, economy will have a advantage also of gaining the possibility. So these are the basic three differences between pure risk and speculative risk. Now, if you consider in detail study on pure risk, the pure risks are again classified into three categories. One is personal risk, property risk, and third one is liability risk. Pure risks are normally personal risk. What is a personal risk? Personal risk refers to the risk happening to a one single person. What are those possibility of risks to a personal or individual? Risk of premature death before the expiry of the time period. If the person dies in a young age, this is called premature death. Natural death is because of the old age. Whereas if a person dies before attaining the old age, that is called as a premature death. Premature death is a pure risk because if person lives, there is no any problem to the family. If the person dies who is a earning member of the family, will have a financial loss, severe loss to the family. This is called personal risk, individual risk pertaining to one single person or one single family. The second one is risk of insufficient income during retirement. If the person gets the retirement fund what he is getting is insufficient to manage his life. That is a less income source at the time of retirement. Third one is risk of poor health. Person getting a health issues during his lifetime. Like for example, maybe because of diabetic, if the person loses the eyes, he may be losing his employment opportunity because of lack of eyes, that is a blindness. Or he may suffer from cancer, heart attacks and all that, may get admitted in the hospital where the hospital expenditures will be too much. If nothing happens to the person, no problem, the normal course of life will continue. But if something happens, the loss will be an abnormal and it is going to cause a damage to the individual person or the family. Next one is risk of unemployment. There will be a kind of unemployment where the person may lose the job during his working years, working time, during his working time. That is called risk of unemployment. For example, because of the COVID, a lot of people have lost their employment, especially the hawkers, peddlers, sellers of vegetables and all that in the market are locked down not to sell the products in the market. So they may lose all their investments which is made in the form of stock of goods. So that is the risk of unemployment. So all these risks are insured in the insurance contract. Like premature death, you can have endowment policy or you can have a insurance policy. When the person dies only, the family will be compensated the loss of the person who has died to the amount of the agreement which is made during the time of the person paying the premium. Risk of insufficient income also, retirement plans and all that, retirement policies can be taken where the after the retirement sufficient income can be given to the person if he pays the insurance policy during his working years. Risk of poor health can be, health insurance can be taken if at all anything goes wrong to his health. If he gets admitted, all the admission medical cost will be reimbursed by the insurance company. Risk of unemployment can also be if at all anything damages goods which are damaged or which are generating employment. If he loses employment also, he will be compensated like that. Next one is the property risk. Uh, Person risk refers to the risk to the individual or to the human beings, whereas property risk refers to the risks which are pertaining to the properties or the assets, where we can have two types of property risk. One is direct loss, that is a physical damage to the property. Another one is indirect loss or financial loss arising from the physical damage. Direct loss in the sense if the building or the property gets lost due to earthquake and all, that is called as a physical damage where the property cannot be used. Second one is indirect loss, refers to if the property has got damaged because of the losing of the property, some financial loss arises to the person is called as financial loss. An example is if the person is having a building and it is given on the rent basis by the person, he was the owner of the building, and if the earthquake happens, not only the building gets damages but also his earning of rent also gets stopped. So this is called indirect loss. Direct loss is the damage to the property by the earthquake. Second one is indirect loss, is the rent that he was supposed to earn out of that particular property. This is called indirect taxes. Third one is liability risk. Liability risk refers to certain liabilities that emerges to the person because of certain situations. Those liabilities are creating a loss to the person. For example, if a owner of the vehicle meets an accident and the person who get accident by the owner of the car dies, the owner of the car's liability arises to compensate to the family who has lost their person in the accident. So it is the liability risk. The person has to is liable for certain losses which are arising out of certain acts like an accident or damages or something like that. For example, if the person is carrying the what you call as gold property from some person to deposit in the bank, in during the transit, if the uh, theft happens in the road and all the jewelry is taken over by the thief, by the person, from that particular person, the person who loses that jewelry and all that is liable to the owner of that particular thing because he was acting as an agent. So these are called as liability risk. On behalf of somebody, if you are doing some action and if the loss arises, so that loss has to be compensated by the agent because he takes the ownership of that particular property or particular assets which is working like an agent, on which is working like an agent. So these are all we call as types of pure risks. Next, fourth one is dynamic and static risk. Dynamic risk refers to risk resulting changes in the economy. If because of the changes in the economy, any risk arises is called as dynamic risk. Dynamic means fluctuating or changing. Because of the changes in the economy, if at all any risk happens, it is called dynamic risk. For example, economic variables like inflation, income level, price level, technology changes, etc. are all dynamic risks. Since the dynamic risk emanates from the economic environment, these are very difficult to anticipate and quantify. Dynamic risk involve losses mainly concerned with the financial losses. These risks affect the public and society. These risks are the best indicators of progress of the society because they are the result of the adjustment in misallocation of the resources. The basic ideology behind this is the dynamic risk is normally arises because of the economic changes. Any economic changes, the dynamic risk either will be a loss or sometimes if it turns positive, if the dynamic situations are positive, it may gain a benefit to the society also. But normally if at all it turns to worse and loss happens, then country has to make an arrangement to sustain that. Most of the people will suffer out of this. An example is an exporter exporting the goods to the foreign country at a one particular currency price. At the time of exporting the goods to America, the currency price for 100 rupees, currency price is 70 rupees per what you call as the dollar. Per dollar rate is 70 rupees. After few days of exporting, if the dollar price comes to 70 to 60 rupees, the exporter has to receive the less money now because what at the time of exporting the price of the dollar is 70 rupees. He was supposed to receive 70 rupees $1 where he is supposed to receive $100 for the contract. Next also he will receive the same $100, but the actual price of $100 has come to 600 rupees, not 700 rupees. So there is a economic loss of 100 rupees happening to the person exporting in the business because of the dynamic nature of the economic systems. Inflations and all that will come into the same dynamic kind of a situations. Static risks are uh, more or less predictable and are not affected by the economic conditions. Static risk involves losses resulting from the destruction of an asset or changes in its possession as a result of dishonesty or humor. Like for example, financial losses arising even if there is no change in the economic environment, even if the economic environment is stable, same, or irrespective of economic environment, if some losses are arising, they are called as static losses or static risks. These arises with a degree of regularity over a period of time. An example for static indicates possibility of loss in the business, unemployment after undergoing a professional qualification, loss due to act of others, etc. Unemployment and all that, they may not be economic conditions, but they are the conditions arising the person's inability to perform and loses the job. So these are called as static risks. These risks remain constant throughout the year and is going to affect the people who come under the clutch of these risks. That is called static risk. For example, after finishing your MBA, right, there is a risk that you may not be able to get the jobs. There is a possibility that you will get it, but there is a risk that you may not get also. This kind of risks prevail in the economy throughout the years and all given times because the supply of the labor is more than the demand. Normally unemployment happens in every country. So always when the supply of the employment manpower is more, so automatically only few people will get an opportunity of the jobs on which they have made a graduation, for which they have worked, taken the education. Everybody will get an employment but may not be equivalent to the graduation or the qualification that they pursued. An engineer may become a businessman in the business in the market, in the economy, even if he's an engineer, but a business, he may be undertaking a business not using his engineering knowledge to become a constructant engineer or a design engineer, something like that. Or business person or MBA student may become a poet and start writing the poems and becoming more famous in the literature. That is possible. But unemployment is identified because the person who has done the business could not, done the business management, could not do a business because of the loss in the economy. Or an engineer completing engineering graduation do not get the engineering jobs, and sufficient income is not there in that particular job. So these are the static risks. Dynamic and static risk, if you compare and contrast, you will find out the difference between the two. The dynamic risk losses are not easily predictable. In case of dynamic losses, how much is the loss we cannot predict, whereas in case of static losses can be predicted. Because how much the financial loss is incurred to the person because of static risk can easily be identified. Next, dynamic risk. These risks result from the changes in the economic environment. Dynamic risks are mainly because of change in the economic environment. Whereas static risk, there occurs even if there is no change in the economic environment. Even if there is no change in the economic environment also, static risks may happen. Then dynamic risks are not covered by the insurance, whereas the static risks are covered by the insurance. Insurance contract is there only for static risk, not for dynamic risk. Then static risks don't benefit the society. Static risk do not benefit the society because always static risks are pure risks and only loss is supposed to happen, and that has to be compensated by the insurance contract. Whereas in case of dynamic risk may benefit the society because if the risk does not happen and the situation is positively happening, not worse, then economy may get a benefit, society may get the benefit. So for example, the exporter who was exporting the goods where the dollar rate has reduced from 70 rupees to 60 rupees, he lost it. Whereas if the adverse happens, that from 70 rupees to 80 rupees, if the dollar price increases, the exporter is gaining the benefit, getting the profit. So the sum total of these export contracts happening in the country would have benefited the society in general. So this is how the dynamic risks nature is. Next one is quantifiable and non-quantifiable risk. There are basically non-quantifiable and quantifiable. What is a quantifiable? A risk which can be measured in terms of financial units is called as quantifiable, and the risk which cannot be measured in terms of financial units is called as non-quantifiable risk. Now, these are the 5 important types of the risk that we have come across. Please pay attention to these 5 important risks that we have already seen: financial risk and non-financial risk, individual and group risk, pure and speculative risk, static and dynamic risk, quantifiable and non-quantifiable risk. Okay. Now, the next point to be discussed in this lecture series is sources of business risks, are also called as enterprise risks. How risks are enterprising, how risks are generating, what are the sources? Sources means the point through which the risks are emerging in the business or in the country. What are the various sources of the risk? The first one is interest rate risk. Interest rate risk means if there is a change in the interest rate, maybe a bank interest rate or the capital interest rate, if it is changed, it is going to affect the market value of a resale price or something like that. For example, if the capital interest rate has increased from 10% to 15%, 5% is the burden on the person who has invested the business out of the bank loans. And this risk is going to create a trouble to him to recover in the business. Either he has to increase the price of the goods in the market, or he has to cut down the prices to the by compromising with the quality of the product. So this is what we call as interest rate risk. Next one is market rate risk. Market risk refers to demand and supply. If there is a huge drop in the demand of the particular product, then the producer who has produced huge amount of goods in the market may not be able to sell those products in the market. A simple example, because of the COVID, the mango which is produced in the country has lost the foreign market. So this is what we call as a market risk, because of the pandemic, there is no foreign market where the foreigners do not import our product from India to their country. So this is what there is a lack of demand for the product, and because of that, the price of the goods in the market has dropped drastically, and the people are demanding in the local market at a cheaper rate because the huge rush of the product in the local market. This is what we call as demand and supply. Inflation risk is one more. Inflation refers to the situation where the price of the product is increasing because of the deficiency of the goods supply or because of the dearth of the product. That is what we call as inflation risk. Inflation risk affects on the purchasing power variability. If the income of the people drastically start reducing, their ability to demand goods comes down. When the demand comes down, automatically price of that particular goods is getting affected. That the price of the goods goes on becoming costly. So only few people will be uh, getting those services. An example is, now for example, the treatment of COVID in the private hospital is having an inflation now because there is a huge demand from the public, but there is the supply is less, and because of that there is a increase in the price of the treatment. Business risk refers to the risk of happening the loss because of uncertainty. Like for example, unpredicted uncertainties in the business cycles, like maybe because of huge entry of the entrepreneurs, businessmen, competition. This is what we call as business risk. If there is a huge competition, there will be a huge rush of the product in the market. If there is no competition, the monopoly leads to increase in the price of the goods supplied by the monopolist. So this is what we call as business risk. On the other contrary, we have financial risk tied to debt financing and all that. This is what we call as financial risk. Financial risk refers to loss of financial assets in the due to what we call as accident, calamities, earthquake, and all that. Liquidity risk refers to there is impossibility to convert the asset into liquid asset. An example, if you have a landed property, you have 100 acres of a land, but unfortunately, if you are admitted in the hospital where you don't have money to admit in the hospital, and at that time, if you go for selling the land, you will not get the perfect price because sale of the land takes a lot of time. It is a long-term, what you call as selling proposal, where you may not be able to liquidate the landed property into cash so easily. So there is a liquidity risk. In times of emergency, if at all liquid assets are not available to address the risk to be addressed, this is what we call as liquidity risk. Most of the banks suffer from the non-performing asset NPA, means loans and advances are given for the long-term investment of assets where the home loans are given and everything, but the repayers or the person who has taken the loan does not repay the continuously 3 EMI requited monthly returns. If he does not pay, it is called as a non-performing asset. Now, if the bank has to liquidate that, it has to sell the property of the loan holder. Suppose if the home loan is taken, the bank has to sell the home of the person and recover the loan given to him. But it is a lengthy process, so it is not so easily liquidated. Therefore, this is what we call as the risk associated with liquidity. Exchange rate risk refers to in case of financial transactions between two countries, the currency rates, if they are getting affected, that I had given an example in case of dynamic risk where the dollar rate is increased or decreased. So it is also a risk. There is a chance of increasing the dollar price against the rupee, where it is going to always disturb the import market if you are importing goods from the foreign countries, because you have to pay more every year whenever there is an increase in the dollar price. Country risk refers to the political changes or natural calamities or any kinds of uncontrollable things happening in the country. Political changes, because of the change in the political leadership, is going to create an havoc in the society sometimes, if at all the situations are not properly taken care. Many a time it happens when there is a political change in the country. Natural calamities are also called as country risk. So these are the various sources which are generating the risk. With this discussion, I will finish out my lecture series number 4. I thank all the students for their patience listening, and we will have the subsequent discussions in the next series. Thank you. Thank you one and all.